Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up, my G.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Hello, everybody. Hey, how's it going? What is the word? It is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, creating another great episode that is of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. And, I'm actually here in the Asian Sensation Studios, right over here in the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan area. Whereabouts exactly its actual location, it's G15 classified. It's that top of the line of classification. In the good words of Tom Cruise and the movie Top Gun, I could tell you, but I have to kill you. But yeah, I'm here. It's a good night. It's a little cold, you know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to be very cold this quickly. But, I have to think about this, and, we have to be logical about it. Around this time, it's not uncommon that the coldness will be coming. Or if it's not cold already, she's a-coming. So yeah, I'm glad that we finally got the taste of the cold, although I'm not a big fan of it. Usually I like to prepare myself and to, kind of battle the defenses of cold weather. I usually wear like a lot of Under Armour stuff. I have like the Under Armour thermals, you know what I mean? Like the long johns and the thermal top, which is very good for wind resistance. I wear that, right there under my jeans and just like a t-shirt. And then, I just wear my very favorite snowboarding jacket that I got from Descent. And it's pretty amazing. You kind of have those layers together. It's a very good defense. Also, I got to wear my my snowboarding gloves and my hat, just to make sure that my hands and my head is feeling pretty good battling the weather. For anybody that has never been in super cold weather, God bless you, because I don't wish that upon you. It sucks. It really does, for a lack of a better term. I am not a big fan of it. I'm an Asian dude, you know what I mean? So my yellow people are tropical people. We love the warmth. I mean, hell, if it was like 80 degrees right now, I'd be living life. If it was anything above 80 degrees Fahrenheit, I really would be loving life. I just don't like the heat mixed with humidity. That is the worst. But, I digress. It's all good. So it is what it is. Hector is actually not here tonight, but I did see him earlier today. We did get a chance to, kind of like make some plans, strategize a little bit. He did get me a taco from the taco truck, and I'm really appreciative of that. Matter of fact, he got me 3. He got me an al pastor taco, which is like a pork taco that has pineapples in it. So it almost feels like it's like a Hawaiian type of taco, but it really isn't. I mean, it is, it was something that was there first, from the Mexican culture. So I definitely appreciated that. A spicy chicken taco, which is absolutely out of this world, and a carne asada taco. So it's Hector, thank you. And I got to tell you, the price on these tacos are actually not bad. They're like $2 a taco. So for me, I feel like it's a real win. I think tacos are from a taco truck is the better taco than, say, eating tacos from a Taco Bell or eating tacos from even Chipotle, I might add. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of one of those like food snobs. So I definitely want to get like good authenticity and something that tastes, really good. And to me, tacos from a taco truck is the winner. So, I mean, there it is. We got a lot to cover. A lot of great things, a lot of great subject matters. I'm just really excited. I'm really excited. Let me go into the first thing. The first thing that happened was that recently I bumped into a friend of mine, a dude that I've actually went to college with way back in the day. A guy by the name of Kevin. We actually had the same English class together. So when he actually saw me, it was quite surprising. He actually said, "What's up? How you doing? Remember me?" And I said, "Of course I did." And of all places, I saw him over at a computer store called Micro Center in Rockville, Maryland, not far from Washington, D.C. And, we caught up. And to my surprise, he actually heard that I had a podcast, and, he tuned in and he became a subscriber. And we caught up, as soon as we actually got done, shopping over at Micro Center. There was a Silver Diner that was actually a walking distance away. So we actually caught up and got a cup of coffee. And, he was asking me a lot of questions about podcasting because he just seemed really fascinated. And, of course, being a podcaster that I am, I was happy to oblige and, take part in the Q&A and just go ahead and just answer whatever questions that he had. And he just asked, a very good question. It was like a two-parter question. He asked me, did I like podcasting? Did I enjoy it? And so forth. And I got to tell you, as a person being here today right now, in front of the mic, sitting in the booth and recording, I can really tell you that, without any hesitation whatsoever right now, I could tell you right now that I love podcasting. And I think it's great. It's something that, acting is my true love and it is my main, creative medium. But I learned to adopt podcasting and I learned to just fall in love with it and feel like, this creative medium is also another creative medium of mine as well. So now there's two parts of me, being an actor and being a podcaster, both in their own respective arts and both in their own creative mediums. And it's just so weird. I just explained to him that, this idea of having a podcast really happened back in 2018. And I told him that, it was an idea that kept on sparking for a long time. And I just didn't have the means. I didn't know about the certain equipment that I had to use. And I just didn't know, where to go with it. But I knew I had an idea. And if it wasn't for my friend, the late Jonathan Henderson, who told me, "Homie, you really got to do it. If your mind is really set on it and it keeps on pointing over to the yes side rather than the no side, that's just a sign that you got to go ahead and do it. There's no other way." And here we are right now into the present time. And I got to say, once again, I love podcasting. It is great. Where else can I go ahead and use my creativity and express it in some way by just the art of normal, verbal conversation? And to actually do it through a medium of podcasting, let alone talking about whatever I wanted, however I wanted, without any restrictions, and knowing that it's on my own podcast, I can do that, and I have that ability to do that. And, I'm calling the shots. It's not like I'm working for the man. It's not like I'm being, edited out by the FCC. I'm doing my own thing, and it's great. Yeah, it's not a podcast that, is making me a lot of money, and I'm getting, tons of notoriety. But, it's okay. I understand it. I realize that if for anything, I would call myself the amateur. I'm not even a pro. I'm an amateur at best. But I do it because I love to do it. It's something that sparks the imagination. Imagination and creativity go hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly. And to say that I'm doing it right now is amazing. And to also say right now that, what I love about podcasting, there's so many things I love about it. Us as podcasters, we're storytellers. We tell a story. We give you something to look at or to hear, and we tell you exactly what's on our mind about it. Our interpretations, our knowledge, our feelings about it. And it could be about anything. Example, there could be somebody that's talking about cooking because they love cooking. It's their, one of their passions, and they have a deep love for the art of cooking. And they know so much about it because they have spent their whole lives in the pursuit of being a really good cook to eventually working into a position of maybe a chef. You know what I mean? But, they love cooking and they know their stuff. And they want to go ahead and share their knowledge to the world and put it in this kind of format. That's awesome. That is awesome. I throw no hate and no shade from that whatsoever. I think that podcasting is a great thing. I feel like, when I do my podcasting, I feel like there's nobody really to stop me but me. And whatever I talk about in my podcast, I like to be genuine. I would like to be honest. I would like to be forthcoming. And I would like to be that type of person that whatever it is that I talk about on my podcast, I talk about it with full confidence and I have nothing to hide. You know what I mean? I always feel like when you have something to hide, that means you're scared of something. You're scared to reveal something. When you have something to hide, you're ashamed of something. Here, I got no shame. And I feel pretty good. And I can talk about things. And I can do whatever I want. And the most rewarding part of this whole deal is the fact that somewhere out there, somebody's paying attention. And if somebody's paying attention, that's good. If somebody's paying attention and really finding a lot of positives out of what you do, and can actually take maybe one piece of information that you actually expressed in one of your own episodes, I feel like that's a win. You know what I mean? That's better than any type of, it's better than any type of amount of money that you can get. It's better than being famous and being on the cover of Times magazine. It's better than, even getting, an accommodation letter from the president. You know what I mean? But that's just how I feel. And that's what I love, about podcasting. It's, it's just me. And it's me sharing out to the world. Obviously, there's going to be some times where maybe some people may not favor it. And they have a lot of negative things to say. And that's fine. I mean, that is your prerogative. You have every right to do so because that is your given right. Does that make it right? That point is questionable. But to those that actually pay attention and listen to it and love it and sing the praises and they just have nothing but positive things and positive words to say about your podcast, that is what we are aiming for. That is why we're doing it. And most importantly, that's just, to me, I feel like, that's just a sign. That's just a sign that, you're doing good things and it's happening. You know what I mean? Not like we would need anybody's permission or, accommodation. But please believe, when I'm out here, I'm just shooting the stuff and I'm having fun. If there's something that I know about, obviously I will talk about it and it's a great feeling. If there's something that I do need to talk about that I don't know so much about, I might take my time with it. But at the end of the day, I'm here. I'm creating content. I'm loving it. It's a natural flow and it's a great thing. I think people who create are the most intelligent people in the world, in my opinion. Because they're the ones that are actually, stimulating their mind and their thought. And they're putting it in any type of form that they can. Painters do it with, paints and canvases. People that actually do drawing do it more on a sketch pad. Cooks, they get the food and they go right into the kitchen and, start chopping it up and putting it in the pan and going to work. Athletes have a more of a physical thing. Podcasters, all I need is one mic, a booth, a source to actually record my voice, and getting to work. It's simple as that. If I didn't love podcasting, I would not have pursued it, or I would not be able, or I wouldn't even do it right now at this very moment. I probably would have just said, to hell with podcasting, and just kind of go about my business. But I love this. I really do. And, whatever happens with it, sure, I'm all for it. I think that there is, a chance for something in the future. And if there is, not like I'm going to, throw it away. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to pursue it to the highest extent of the whole possibility. That's just what I think. That's just my 2 cents. So yes, I love podcasting. I think there's a lot of good that comes out of it. And you are what you make out of it. So if you want to be a podcaster, I definitely say go for it. There's always room for more in the pot. I've recently actually expressed to a very good friend of mine, or recent good friend of mine, her by the name of Kara. I've mentioned her on a couple of episodes. She's a very big personality from TikTok from the UK, over in County Durham, England, which is the northeast part of England. And I told her that, you have a great voice, and you have such a great, compassion for people. Why not put that hand in hand? I think that she did kind of smiled in a sense and chuckled at the idea. I'm not sure if she would ever do it. I think she says that she doesn't want to do it, but I think that she could. And I just throw that very special message and special challenge to Kara. First, saying that, hello, I hope that you're well and things are good with you over in the UK. I'm glad that you were able to be on my episode about 2 times now. So I openly invite you to come back for a third one. But the most important thing I want to say is I really think that you have a great opportunity and, just a great thing to become a podcaster if you so choose to pursue it. I would just hate for, a potential opportunity to pass you by, especially with somebody that I feel is very well qualified for that. So just, a little, food for thought. That's all I'm going to leave it at. But, like I said, podcasting and I, we got a good relationship, and it's here to stay. So we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break. We'll come right back. We're going to jump into another segment. But, stay tuned, folks, because it's rocking and it's rolling and it's here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. We'll see you in a bit. What do you get when you have 2 undercover police detectives that are underestimated who utilize their wit, charm, and skills to outsmart the biggest arms dealer and all of his puppets in the region? Then you get the highly anticipated action comedy film of the century, Miscalculated. That's right, starring Romel Xavier Morales, Dameron Kirby, and an all-star cast. Now streaming on Tubi, Discovered, and Reveal. That's Reveel. And now available for purchase on Amazon Prime Video. You heard that right. Now available for purchase on Amazon Prime Video. Miscalculated.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. So we're here for round 2. It's a good day, and, again, I'm feeling pretty good. Real quick, before I jump into the next segment, I got to give a couple of shout-outs. Number one, I got to give a shout-out to the ladies of the taco truck that I usually go to, which is a hop, skip, and a jump away from, the Asian Sensation Studios. I just went over there for a brief moment, and I was picking up some, something to eat, something to snack on. And one of the young ladies, I don't know how she knew or whatever, but she was just like, hey, it's cold outside, and, I know that you're probably feeling a little bit weird because it sounds like, your voice is kind of scratchy, and I was kind of oblivious. I was like, well, all right, I guess. So what's up? I mean, what do you mean? So she actually treated me and got me a cup of hot tea. And I was really moved by the gesture because I just thought to myself, wow, she did not have to do that. She did not have to do that. She did that out of the kindness of her own heart. And I said, well, look, how much for the tea? I can pay for this hot tea. It's no problem. She's like, no. I insist. It's all good. Just go ahead and take this. It's cold outside anyways. Just go ahead and take it. This one's on me. And I felt so bad. I felt appreciative, but I felt really bad. So I reached in my pocket, gave her an extra $3, and I threw it in the tip jar, and I said, look, thank you. I appreciate it. And I went out of my, continue on and, went on my way and, and headed back to business as usual. So I want to thank the ladies of that taco truck. It is amazing. I love your food. Your food is great. You're the reason why I support local businesses, because they're better than the bigger businesses like Taco Bell and Chipotle and Baja Fresh and gosh, there's other taco places that are fast food that I can't even think of right now. Maybe Cadobas, California Tortilla. I could go on and on, but the taco trucks, again, it is definitely where it's at. I love it. I'm a fan of it. And believe it or not, the taco trucks, their tacos are a lot better and for a fraction of the price. Where you would go to Taco Bell and get a taco for $3, it only costs $2. Plus, it's real meat, real chicken, real pork, and all that stuff. You can't beat it. My God, I'm still a little bit emotional about it because the taco trucks, again. People that know about the taco truck, y'all know what I'm talking about. I think it's just other places in general, that's outside of the U.S. I don't think they know about the taco truck because I don't think they have one. But if you're ever in the mood, whatever country that you're in, let's say Canada, or if you're in England, please do yourself a favor. Get on the taco truck. Really and truly get on that taco truck, because the taco truck is absolutely amazing. Again, I love it. It's the greatest thing in the world. That's just my opinion, an opinion of only me, myself, and I, and no one else. You know what I mean? So that's the deal. That's the deal there. So the second shout out I want to give a shout out to is a friend of mine, who was like a mentor. I've met her through Facebook, and I've seen her one time in real life, and that is to my dear friend Justina Hall. She was a real badass in the world of martial arts, being a competitor in the Waco circuit, giving all those ladies a run for their money, competing in sparring forms and weapon forms. She was really, in my opinion, I call her she was the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, you know what I mean? And she really paved the way for martial artists like myself. And I just want to say, how much, I really appreciate her. I love her dearly. And, I always want to show my love and respect to her and my support to her because she really, means a lot in my world. And it's really awesome to have real good friends like that. At least that's my opinion, It's my opinion. If you want to go ahead and support her endeavors, she does have a podcast called Cheer Up, It Gets Worse. Her and her sister Jessica, they do it together. They're the co-hosts. They do a fantastic job. They put their spin on things, you know what I mean? It's really cool. And I just really like everything that they do. I'm a fan and I'm sold. So please check them out. They're on all the major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I think that they're on Google Podcasts. I don't know if they are on Amazon Music. But if you have Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're pretty much good to go. Or Spotify for podcasters, because, that's free. So you can actually access it that way. That being said, guys, I really want to talk about something here that I am very fond of and that I'm very passionate about. And it's about the martial arts. And a lot of times recently, well, it's been an ongoing thing. A lot of people have been talking about it, about martial arts and how, certain styles are better than others, or this one is superior than the other one. This is better than that, yada, yada, yada. Guys, we could talk about it, until the cows come home. But to be honest with you, I have to say that, for me, at least this is just my opinion, I believe that all martial arts are good and they have a lot to offer. Now, for anybody that, is kind of confused, when they're like, what the heck does, the term martial arts means? Well, they are codified systems and traditions of combat, practiced for a number of reasons, such as self-defense, military, law enforcement applications, competition, physical and mental and spiritual development, and sometimes even in the world of entertainment and and so forth. That's what it's all about. Martial arts is definitely bound by a tradition, and they're basically all over the world. So there's Japanese martial arts, Korean martial arts, Chinese martial arts. There's even some from from the continent of Africa, African martial arts, Brazilian martial arts, and things that are just martial arts from Thailand and Indonesia and the Philippines, and so much more. You know what I mean? I always believe this, and this is just my opinion, that all martial arts have something to offer, right? And I feel like, to me, if the philosophy is proven to be effective in some way, even though that, the martial artist doesn't believe in it or just, never seen it, if it's proven to be effective and, you actually understand it and you see the demonstration and it actually is applied to a real life situation and it works, in my opinion, I feel like, how can that be bad? You know what I mean? Now, I'm a Taekwondo guy. I'm a 3rd degree black belt in the Muay style of Taekwondo, and I love it, and there's, I would never steer away from it. But there are some arts that I kind of question a little bit just because I don't have an understanding of it. Now, just because I don't have an understanding of it doesn't mean that martial arts is invalid or it's not effective, because certain things that we may not understand, it's okay. But at the same time, if we see that it works, we got to give it its love and respect. Like, let me give you a prime example. There might be some karate guys out there that study their style of karate for years. But when they see something a little bit different, somebody doing a kung fu style, or they do a kempo style, or if they do something something like silat or kali or something like that, and they're or anything that's just a little bit different, whatever style of kung fu, whatever. Yes, it may be strange to us because it's something that we don't normally see every day. It is something that we look at it and we're just like, huh? But when you apply the application and the knowledge and the philosophy of that art, and once again, if it's actually proven in some kind of real life situation, I feel like there's got to be credit. And I give a lot of credit to a lot of those martial arts. Like again, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I don't know nothing about it. I really don't. But I've seen it in action and the way that it's applied. And a lot of people would always say back in the day, oh, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is garbage. You know what I mean? It's not effective. It has no place. Let me tell you something. I've seen it where people actually get taken down from a guy that knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that BJJ guy won because he or she is in their element on the ground. And if you don't know what to do in the ground game when you're fighting in the ground and you're grappling in the ground, it really gets tough. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to combat that situation, it's a harsh reality in a cold world. And I give so much respect to that type of art because it is a martial art. It has been proven. It's great, and I love it. You know what I mean? Same thing with, Kali. It's a different system and a different train of thought. You know what I mean? I've seen a couple of demos about, the type of training that they do, and it's amazing. It is a beautiful thing to see, especially with the part where a lot of it deals with a lot of good weaponry, like, sticks and knives and so forth. Not many arts deal with that type of training. Kali is definitely one of them. And I got to give it its respect. It's badass, man. It is really badass. It's really an amazing thing, and I got to give it its respect. I have to. It's really awesome, and it's really amazing. And I hope, honestly, that, that a lot of people will be a little bit more open-minded to that type of situation. And I think that's the great thing about martial arts is that we can all appreciate everything and all the training and the philosophy. Even like the great Bruce Lee, coming from a Chinese kung fu background of Wing Chun, and then he kind of made his own style of Jeet Kune Do, derived from all these philosophies and techniques of different martial arts, and he made it to one combative fighting system. To me, I think that's great because, you're just blending everything in all together all at once. And I think, in my opinion, that's where the original, mixed martial arts term really came from, was from Jeet Kune Do. I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not like the omniscient professor of all martial arts, and I can give you a history. I can give you an educated guess. I can give you an opinion, and that is my opinion. And my opinion, altogether, is that I do believe that every martial arts out there in the world, no matter what style, is a beautiful style. I think it's an effective style. I think it is a style that will help out in the terms of, self-defense and, developing self-confidence and self-respect. You know what I mean? It definitely goes a long way. As a martial artist, I hate it when people trash talk about other people and about the styles that they study. Again, I feel like that's wrong. It's disrespectful. And as a martial artist, I feel ashamed. Why are you going to make fun of this person because he studies this style of Taekwondo and you feel like it's ineffective? Or you are making fun of this person that's studying Japanese Goju-Ryu karate or Shotokan karate, or somebody that's studying northern or southern Shaolin style kung fu, or the eagle claw system of kung fu or wushu or whatever, Again, all martial arts are good. I think it's great. I definitely do believe that there is a martial art for everybody, Case in point, one of my neighbors in my neighborhood, she started out training in Taekwondo. And she said that she did love it, but later on she just found out that wasn't the system for her. So after a lot of soul searching and, doing the research and stuff like that, she actually got into Tai Chi. And I was really surprised because, I'm like thinking, okay, you went from a hard system, a hard style of martial arts to something a little bit more soft. But it was something that was a natural fit for her. It agreed with her body type and, her body strength. And she seemed to love it. She really seemed to love it. She was really into it. And she just said, you know what, this is me and I'm going to go for it and I love it. And you know what? God bless her. Seriously, God bless her. She chose what was good for her and what she liked and what made sense for her. Respect. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are a martial artist, number one, most importantly, let's have respect for each other as martial artists, no matter what style that we study. And number two, let's get rid of that philosophy that one martial art is better than the other. I feel like it's not the martial art that is effective, it's the person behind that martial art can make it effective or not. So it's up to that martial artist in training who's learning that art and just taking everything in stride and just, learning the techniques and everything. It's up to them to make sure that that art is effective for them. Otherwise, if they mess up, that's a harsh reality in a cold world that you're living in. So that's my 2 cents on the matter. We're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with the episode. I got a couple of things I want to talk about, and I will answer some questions. Yes, I will answer some questions. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because the Kim Hoang podcast experience is still cooking and coming in hot. We'll see you in a bit. If you're looking for an art store that has all the goods, then look no further than Plaza Artist Materials and Picture Framing. Why? Because they want to help you find great art supplies so that you can make the art that you love. They offer a huge selection of fine art materials, creative gifts, and custom framing services. They also provide a full range of workshops, classes, and demos in their store locations so artists can connect with each other and try new mediums. So look no further than Plaza Artist Materials and Picture Framing. For more information about locations and what they have to offer, go to plazaart.com. That's PLAZAART.com. Plaza Artist Materials and Picture Framing.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's awesome that you guys are back here. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad to even be here, and I'm glad to, have created this great episode just for you guys. It has been awesome, for sure, without a doubt. Yeah, so here I am. We're going to be closing this episode off. We have one question that's online, and several here actually in my hand because it was delivered to me, and I'll explain. During the week, I want to say about 2 days ago, I was working out over at a gym at Annapolis Junction, Maryland, called Kicked Up Fitness. It is owned by Sean Queen, who is one of the executive producers of Miscalculated. He calls me up obviously I see him, I give him a hug and I give him a 5, and I just, it's good to see a friend of mine, and I just say, hey, what's going on, Cat Daddy? How you doing? And he said, hey, guess what? Some of our, staff members here have wrote questions for you that you can address on your podcast. Since we don't have access to Spotify or Spotify for podcasters, we just wanted to write these questions for you, hand write them, and give it to you in this envelope. And if you could please address it, that would be amazing. And I said I would. Although I have to admit, when he said that he didn't have access to Spotify for podcasters, I'm thinking, dude, it's a free thing to have. I don't understand why you wouldn't even sign up for it. But I think there are just some people that, it's just easier to do it the old school way. So I respect that. I mean, I can't really be mad. I can't be mad. Just the fact that Sean, loves and supports, what I do. He loves and supports the Kim Hoang podcast experience. He shows nothing but love, and I appreciate that. So Sean, much love and respect, my dude. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and hit these questions, and we're going to do it. The first question comes from Zach, who is one of the custodians. Zach writes the question, what is the best sushi restaurant that you have ate in Annapolis, Maryland? And please give me a good recommendation. Real quick, Zach, the short answer is Josh Sushi Cafe Bar, downtown Annapolis, over at 115 Main Street. It is a great place. Their sushi is amazing. Their food choices outside of sushi, like, some appetizers, like the takoyaki balls are amazing. There's also a couple of other stuff on the main course, and their soups are amazing. Their drinks, the mixed drinks and everything, all of the stuff that they do at the bar, any type of creative drink that's on the menu is amazing. Even the staff members and like everybody from management and the cooks, the maitre d's, the servers, they're great people, and I love them. They're amazing. It's definitely a place to go. A good place, a very good place for a reasonable price. It has actually been a sushi place where celebrities like Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune, the host of Wheel of Fortune, he's been there and ate there. And Pat Sajak's from Baltimore, Maryland, so that's very huge. And even Harrison Ford from Star Wars, when he was over in Annapolis, Maryland, filming for Clear and Present Danger, he ate over there. And both of them have their pictures with the staff members. It's framed up. It's amazing, and I like it, and it's awesome. So check out Josh Sushi Cafe Bar, because that is a good place. Now, we have another question from my boy King, who is one of the fitness instructors and trainers. And he says, yo, what is the secret in order to earn a black belt in any style of martial art? I think the most important thing that you have to remember, King, straight up, is that, just come in with the attitude. Come in with that right type of attitude, and come in with that attitude of never giving up. You never want to give up. When you give up, it's pretty much the end of everything, and you just automatically throw in the towel, believing that you can't do it when you can. I think that also just being there consistently and just training consistently is the best thing. When I was coming up, when I first started in the martial arts, I used to go 6 days a week. I really did. But to be fair, I was like 12 or 13, and the karate school that I went to, that I still train at, was literally a walk away from my neighborhood. And I would walk over there along with, my best friend, who is my, instructor's son. and of course, my best friend's younger brother, which is my instructor's youngest son. And we would all walk over there and have a good time, and then, go train, and it would be a blast. And once the training was over, I would just walk home. Or in certain cases, when the instructor's wife came to pick up both my friends, she was like, "Hey, let me just give you a ride home because, you live one house away anyways, so why don't you just come with us?" And, that was a good time. Now these days, my training is a little bit different because I try to train whenever I can. But just, if you're on the come up of trying to be a martial artist, earning a black belt, coming in as much as possible helps out. Having the right type of attitude of just, never giving up helps out. And just trust the process of all your instructors because they want to see you succeed. They want to see you do well. You know what I mean? It's because it's important for them to see your change and your growth and your evolution. And they want to see that. And it's my belief that as an instructor, you never want to see anybody fail. So that's my answer for you, King. I hope that helps out, bro. It's a good question. We got an online question from my boy Nathan coming all the way from County Durham, England. And it says, "Hey, Nathan here. Kim, it's a question for you. In 3 years' time, where would you love, let me read that one more time. In 3 years' time, where would you love your podcast to be, and who would be your all-time 3 guests that you would love to talk to? Let's go." Nathan, it's no secret that I love podcasting, buddy. I really do. It is a passion. It is a hobby. It is a creative medium, and I love it. I will never turn my back away from it. I think in 3 years' time, I definitely will still be doing podcasting. That is for certain. I am for sure to know that I will keep podcasting until the wheels fall off. Where I would love to see it is I would like for it to actually be picked up with more followers, more subscribers, and maybe even that it would get picked up where it would have a great national distribution deal where I get to go major with it and get paid lots of money to do podcasting. 3 people that I would love to interview that would be like my all-time guests currently. One would be my boy Davey Suicide. He is a musician. He is the lead singer of his own band. His band is self-named Davey Suicide. He is my friend for many, many years. We grew up together in the Maryland state. And I've known him. We have a lot of great history. I got a lot of love and respect for him. And for me to have an opportunity to even interview him would be great. And I would think that in the 3 years' time, I probably would have gotten it. So it would be cool. Plus for the fact that when you interview your friends, it's not even like an interview. It's more like a talking and hanging out and having fun. And depending on, the years of when was the last time that you saw each other, you're just catching up. And I think that's the cool thing. The second guest I would like to interview is Jackie Chan. I am a huge fan of his. All the movies that he did, he did all of his stunts and all the action sequences. A very knowledgeable martial artist. He's been in the game for many, many years. And he's always been one of my personal heroes because not only he is a martial artist, but he's a stuntman, and he is an Asian actor, and he's been doing a lot of things for many years, and that is, I think, the reason why he is successful, and he's got his name out there in lights. I think that conversation would go really well, but we'll see. I always think that anything and everything is possible, so I'm always down for the business, for the one-on-one. If I had to pick a third person, Wow, that's going to be a real tough one. I think honestly, if I had to pick a third person, and I'm going to go with the athlete this time. I probably would like to interview Michael Jordan, the famous basketball player that played in the NBA and played for the Chicago Bulls. 6 NBA titles, you know what I mean, which is 2 sets of three-peats. Probably the greatest of all time in the basketball game, period, in my opinion. A lot of people may debate, no, it's going to be LeBron James or it's going to be Kobe Bryant or something like that. I truly think Michael Jordan was the one that did it. And, it would be great to interview one of my sports heroes and get to know about him and the game and, just things that we didn't know. You know what I mean? So that's where I see it. Those are the 3 guests that I would love to interview. Nathan, great question, my man. Keep it rolling. And that's it. That's all the time that we have. It's been a real good one. Real quick, I do want to give just a quick little thing I have to say here. We live in a world today, unfortunately, where a lot of people are really unkind to one another. Somehow we are hated because we have a lot of differences. Whether if it's just because, we're a certain race, if we practice a different faith in the religion sense, if we have a different belief system in the world of politics, we even get made fun of sometimes if we're the wrong preference, because maybe you don't like this person because he's gay, or you don't like this person because he's a bisexual, or he's a transgender or something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, people are people. And, at the end of the day, love is love and respect is respect. And we really have to love and respect each other for what it is. Yes, we do have a lot of differences in the world, but I truly believe because of those differences, it's what makes the world a really cool place. If everybody was pretty much the same, it would get boring. Nobody has a right to make fun of people or bully people or make them feel like they're the lowest common denominator and the lowest form of dirt in the world. That is wrong. That is messed up. And shame on you if you actually do that. We are here because we need to, help each other. We need to support one another. And we have to let everybody know that, it's okay. And we're with you. We're on your side. We are your ally. We are not your enemy. Let's just get this, together. Let's go ahead and live life together and get this together and win. And it just truly breaks my heart when people just do that. You know what I'm saying? So, if you complain about to the world that, nothing changes and, you wish that things happen, well, you got to start somewhere. You got to be proactive, and you got to be the first one to make the move. You got to be the one that says, you know what, if hate is being surrounded, then I got to be the one to be proactive and do it first by spreading love and respect and support. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we got. That's just the bottom line. We are all that we got. And I just want to let people know that I truly love each and every one of you guys. And if for any reason that there's something wrong in the world and you need to reach out to me, please reach out to me. Talk to me and I'll talk to you back. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? There's nothing in the world that we can't solve without, love, understanding, and a good conversation. At least that's just my opinion. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. It has been real. You can follow me on Facebook under the search box. Go and type in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. You can find me there. It's great. I am on 2 social media platforms in the forms of Instagram and on X, which is formerly Twitter. And you can find me at TKHPC Experience, all in one word, lowercase letters. Follow me and I'll follow you back. We are on 5 podcasting platforms. We're on Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on Amazon Music. Now, do me a favor, like and subscribe to my podcast on all the major podcasting platforms, as I explained. Also, if you have Spotify, please give me a 5-star rating. If you have Apple Podcast, please give me a 5-star rating and a nice written review. The purpose behind that is that the more positive ratings that it gets in the terms of 5-star ratings when it's on Spotify, the more times it gets 5-star ratings and a great, perfect, positive written review on Apple Podcasts, then it'll go right ahead of the class. People will see it and they'll notice it and they'll want to go ahead and want to listen to it. Also, if you can do a brother a solid and please just tell people, face to face about this podcast and spread the word that way. Also, share and spread the word online through Facebook, X, now formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. Promote this, please. It really would mean a lot. Last but not least, email me if you want to either be a special guest host, or if you have a constructive criticism at my email address, thekimhoangpodcastexperience@gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, put it on the subject box, and on the body of the email, just write it down. Let me know what it's all about. Once you email me, I'll email you back. I'll read it. You'll get a notice back within 24 hours because I do like to properly correspond that way. Guys, please be safe. I love each and every one of you guys because it doesn't do me any good if you make the wrong choices and get buried in a pine box and go in 6 feet under. We don't want that because we think the best for you. We think that you're worth it. And we want you to succeed and be healthy and to be happy because you deserve it. So for the one time, this is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian Sensation, from the Asian Sensation Studios in the greater Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, saying thank you so much. I love y'all. Keep it real. We'll do it again real soon. Peace, guys. Have a good one.